Welcome to the very first episode of Fishy Thoughts, the podcast where we slow down, look into the glass, and think a little deeper about the fish swimming right in front of us. I'm Nate from Nate's Tank, and in every episode of this podcast, I'll be spotlighting one fish species, talking about where it comes from, why it matters, and what it can teach us. Not just about aquariums, but about the natural world itself. Now, since this is episode 1, I want to start with the fish that almost everyone recognizes, but very few truly understand. Today's fish is the Betta fish, also known as the Siamese fighting fish. Let's be honest. Most people's first memory of a Betta fish is probably a tiny plastic cup on a pet store shelf. Bright colors, flowing fins, and a label that says something like, "Easy beginner fish." But a little cup doesn't even begin to tell the Betta story. In the wild, Betta fish come from Southeast Asia, especially Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam. They live in slow-moving waters like rice paddies, marshes, and shallow streams. These environments are warm, heavily planted, and often low in oxygen. That's where one of the Betta fish's most fascinating traits comes in. Bettas have something called a labyrinth organ. It allows them to breathe air directly from the surface, almost like a lung. That's why you'll see them swim up for a gulp of air. It's not a problem, it's a superpower. But here's the thing. Just because a Betta can survive in harsh conditions doesn't mean it should. That's a theme you'll hear a lot on this podcast. Survival is not the same as thriving. Male Bettas are famously aggressive towards other males. That's where the fighting fish name comes from. In the wild, they defend territories not because they're mean, but because resources matter. Space, shelter, food, these things determine survival. When we keep them in captivity, understanding that natural behavior is critical. A properly heated tank, gentle filtration, plants, places to rest near the surface, these aren't luxuries, these are basic needs. A Betta in a healthy setup doesn't just survive, it explores and even recognizes its keeper. Yes, Bettas are really that smart. Let's talk about those colors for a second. Selective breeding has given us Bettas that look like living artwork. Metallic blues, deep reds, galaxy patterns, fins that look like silk drifting through water. But with that beauty sometimes comes fragility. Overbreeding can lead to health issues, shortened lifespans, and weakened genetics. That's why responsible fish keeping and responsible breeding matters. Because every fish we keep represents something bigger than our tanks. Bettas remind me that small creatures are often misunderstood, that something doesn't need to be loud or massive to be complex. They also remind us that nature doesn't design animals for convenience, it designs them for balance. When we disrupt that balance, whether by poor care, habitat destruction, or misunderstanding ecosystems, the consequences ripple outward. And that's really what Fishy Thoughts is all about. Each episode will explore a different species. Freshwater, saltwater, tiny, massive, common, rare. And we'll talk about their role in the wild, how they're treated in captivity, and what we can do better as fish keepers and humans. This isn't about gatekeeping or shaming. It's about learning, it's about curiosity, and it's about respect. So if you're listening right now with a Betta tank glowing in the corner of your room, take a second to really watch your fish. Notice how it moves, how it rests, how it reacts to you. There's more going on in that little tank than you might think. Thanks for listening to the Fishy Thoughts podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, follow the podcast and share it with your fish nerd friends. Join the conversation over on my TikTok at Nate's Tank for more fish talk, tank tips, and content. Until next time, keep your tanks healthy and your thoughts fishy.